Hi everyone, it's Mel here. How are you? Dario, could you, that's better. Thank you, Dario. How is everyone? Here we are for our last web conference, hey? Hard to believe that we're almost through. So you still got 2 assessments to go, so we need to stay very focused. I take it you all got your first assessments back. I was pretty pleased with them. They were good. Some of them were very good. So anyone got any questions about that? No. So how are things going for you all? I've just got Xavier and Gio here. Dario, you look like you've dropped out. Guys, can you see my screen? Can I have a yes in the chat? Yes, good. Okay, cool. Excellent. Okay, I'm not sure what's happened to Dario. He seems to have dropped out. Why don't you turn on your mic, say hi, tell me how things are going. Andres, Paul, and Gio. Have you got access to mics today?
Can you hear me there?
Hello, Andres. Yes, I can. How are you?
Very well, Mel. Thank you. How are you?
I am excellent, thank you. I'm very well. How's everything going?
Good, good. Just covering the material for this week 6 already, and trying to get on top of the assessment 3 and 4 for this week and the next.
Cool. All right. Well, that's the objective of today, is to focus on those assessments and answer any questions you've got. And I'll go through assessment 4 with you. Dario, I can see you back on your iPad. Have you got access to a mic? Or
can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah.
How are you?
I'm in now. Good, good. Yourself?
Excellent. Thanks, Dario. How have you been? How are things going?
Yeah, good. Busy, but you're going okay.
Excellent. All right. Good to hear. All right. And Gio, are you there? You were somewhere very noisy.
Oh yeah, because I was looking at I was watching a movie right now, so
Nice.
I had my mic on, but that's the reason why I muted.
That's all right. What movie are you watching? Anything good?
I don't know the name. It's my mom's movie. So
Okay. Cool.
I don't know what the name is of the movie. Yeah.
Excellent. How's everything been going for you, Gio?
Well, kind of busy. One of my peers went on holidays, and I was like in charge of 2 positions at the same time, but surviving.
What a nightmare. Yes, that's always the thing. Well, hopefully that person's there to cover for you, hey? All right, guys. Well, listen. So you will have finished your discussion and reflection part of your assessment now. So I will be taking a very good look at those. I was really pleased to see how that was developing. So I look forward to reading the last post from you guys. So that will be that assessment. That's assessment 1. That'll be that completed. And so now let's focus on assessment 3 and 4. So as you know, assessment 3 is due on Sunday, the 18th of February, this coming Sunday, by 11:55 p.m. In the last web conference, we went through the requirements of that in detail, I thought. You all seem to be pretty comfortable with it. So let me see how you're going and if you have got any questions on that. Why don't you all let me know? Dario,
sorry, no,
hi.
You just cut out on that last bit, sorry.
Oh, did I? Okay, I better just check my volumes up. Let me just turn it up. Hopefully is that better?
Yep.
Oh, cool. Okay, it was a bit low. I tested it before we started. Okay, I just want to know how you're going with your 3rd assessment, your learning and development proposal. If you've got any questions before its due date, which is, of course, on Sunday.
Yeah, look, for me, I kind of know what I wanted. It's more around the structure. Like, it's a bit ambiguous, I found, around, you've got all this information in that case study. Like, it's a big case study. And then I kind of don't know what they're asking. You know what I mean? Like, I was really, to be honest, I was pretty confused, right? Because if you look at the analysis part of Red Telecom,
Yeah.
You know, they've got a problem statement, they've got training needs analysis, they've got a brief outline for the client trainee group. But what do they want? Like, what,
Okay.
are they looking for training, like a training? Like I might have made a mistake here, but I looked at it at a kind of structured training proposal over a period of time, but I wasn't sure whether it was. So I kind of did one for the team leaders, one for the non-team leaders. I just
no. Okay, let's go back. You'll get some help today too, because when we look at assessment 4, there's quite a useful structure in there, because I think this report needs to be very structured, and you need to cover all the requirements. So so I would like to see very structured report with headings and subheadings. So you need to first state the objective of your proposal, a profile of the work group, which are the team leaders. That's who you're looking at specifically, just the team leaders. Okay, Dario?
Yeah.
Then you want to provide a section which states the problem that they are having, and then the competency gaps. So the problems resulting from gaps in their competencies, so you should outline that very clearly. And then you should also, in another section or in the same section as a subtitle, you want to identify the competencies or skills that need to be developed by the team leaders to overcome the problem and the gaps that you've identified. And then you want to present a learning and development proposal which addresses those gaps and the skills that need to be developed. And so the detail of that proposal should be in the report. Of course, it's a professional report, so it has to be very succinct. And you then include in your appendix a learning and development proposal. So you can use the template that is on LMS, or you can use any other template you come across, or you can design your own. And so if you want to go back and have a look at specifically what you're asked to do, you've got to take that case study, and the work group profile that you're delivering on in this assessment is the team leaders from Red Telecom. So you're the manager, and all of these team leaders report to you. So you're writing the report in that context. Now, if you want to go back and have a look at the detailed requirements that we went through last week, if you take that and then overlay the detailed requirements, which you'll find just up here, if we go back into the instructions for assessment 3, they're here.
Yeah, this is where I was getting a little bit lost.
Okay. Well, yeah, you need to take that. Let's just go back in. Okay. So you have to develop this learning and development proposal as the manager. You're the manager who these team leaders report to. And your proposal needs to describe and analyse appropriate interventions for your team leaders within the context of this case study. And so, I went through, it needs to be structured. Use some headings and subheadings to do that, and make sure you meet the requirements of the question with the context in mind. This is a business report, you're the manager.
All right, so you've got the objectives of the work, it's the team leader, so we established that. Then you've got the competency gaps, which I'm assuming are the ones that they've kind of highlighted with the issues in the case study.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to draw this out of the case study. So yes, you're gonna give us an outline of what the objective of your proposal, okay, which is obviously to identify these gaps, identify skills to be developed, and then come up with a strategy to do that, and some interventions. So you want to convince senior management to take on board what you're saying and accept your proposal. So it's a very structured professional business report. It needs to contain a contents and an executive summary. And then if you go down here to specific instructions, right? So this is just in LMS. You've got here 6 instructions or requirements of the assessment. So you need to analyse, propose and describe your learning and development interventions appropriate to those team leaders. You need to underpin your whole proposal with appropriate adult learning and development theory, or HRD theory, and then take that theory and apply it to the case study group. Show us how it works in real life. And so as part of your
Sorry,
proposal...
Mel.
Yes.
Is this where we will be using the academic research to support our paper, wouldn't it?
Exactly. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to... You're proposing to senior management a proposal which identifies the gaps in your team, what they need to develop, and then you're going to propose how you're going to go about that, what interventions you're going to put in place. And you need to support that with relevant theory to set the stage. The theory is the foundation, okay? That gives you your credibility for whatever you're going to propose.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, but in real life, the first step will be to do a diagnosis of the state of the target group. But that has been done for us in the case scenario with the information that we have from the team leaders. That's the diagnosis, and that's the identify gap analysis.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then what we need to do is to establish what strategies we are going to use to address and close that gap based on academic research that we will be using for our paper. Is that correct?
You want to support your proposal with appropriate academic research and theory.
Yep.
So I want you in your development proposal, okay? Remember, the actual the summary learning and development plan will be in the appendix, but in the actual proposal, you'll contain some of the detail to that. So I want you to set out the objective of your proposal, the work group that you are profiling, which is your team leaders, state the problems and the gaps with their competencies, and then identify which skills need to be developed. And then you will suggest key interventions to overcome those skill gaps, and you will support that based on theoretical foundations. So you can see here, you need to show appropriate analysis, identify your interventions, underpin your proposal with appropriate theory applied to the case study. You need to make sure you do some academic research on the competencies related to your team leaders. So what do they need? What are they missing? And make sure you write your proposal in the correct context. You're the senior manager you're the manager of these team leaders proposing this to senior management in the firm. So effectively, that is what you are required to do. Has that helped? Does that make more sense?
It does, Mel. I guess. Well, I'm just a bit confused around where. I know you got the report that sits in there, and then you got in the appendix you've got the learning and development plan. Like, kind of, how in depth is that plan? Like, is that just a structure plan? Is it?
Let's have a look. Let's just have a look at the template that they have given you if you want to use it. Where is it? Where's that template gone? Sorry, guys. Let me just go back.
I think you need to go back.
Yeah.
To the previous screen.
Thank you. Oh, I keep logging out. I don't know why that is. Come on, log back in. Okay. Right. I haven't downloaded the template, so I'll just do that. Come on, open. There we go. Okay. So this is just a sample template. You can use any template you find on the internet, or you can design your own. And so this is just a summary of the interventions that you are going to put in place to help to close those competency gaps identified within your proposal. And so you want to come up with, so you want to set out their learning objectives, the type of intervention you're planning. So this could be things like you might plan a workshop with your team leaders. You might do some online training. You might do some face-to-face training. You might do some role play. I want you to look at the learning and development intervention theories and learning strategies that you've come across, and then design some interventions to overcome the problems that you've stated in your report. So then the competencies that you're looking to fill, and then some details about what you're going to do. So, you know, where are you going to do this? In the workplace, in the boardroom, online, the resources you need, the date, etc. So
Sorry,
this is,
Mel,
yes.
how detailed do you want this template to be?
Okay,
because given that it's just a snapshot, could we just list a number of bullet points, for example, needed competencies, just to list whatever we need in terms of skills for us to deliver that strategy?
yeah, look, I want the template, the detail needs to be contained in your report. The template is just a summary. So for example, I would expect to see here, you know, for example, you might decide to run a workshop. So under intervention, you'd put, you know, 4-hour workshop, or you might have a series of workshops. What competencies are you looking to fill with those workshops? Okay, it might be, you know, customer service or whatever it may be. The competencies you're using that you're trying to fill with that particular intervention. So yes, it's fine to have this in a summary form, because in your proposal, you'll then go on and tell me in the workshop, you will cover this, and this is how you'll run it, and this is how what you want to get out of it.
I have just one question here, because in the instructions, it says that in the appendix, we have to develop the plan, and in the conclusion, we have to give some sort of summary. So if I do understand, this table will be in the appendix, and we will give a brief summary in the conclusion. Is that right?
Yeah, so your appendix will contain the learning and development plan, the summary, but in your report, it will contain the detail that goes behind that. So for example, if you run a workshop, in your report, you're going to tell me, what is the objective of the workshop? How will you run it? What do you want to achieve? So, and then
so it could be like a series of workshops.
Exactly. It depends on the strategy you want to approach, and you will identify the gaps and the competencies that you need to address, and then you will design interventions based around those. So it could be a series of workshops. It could be a workshop and an online training session, whatever you think is appropriate. But whatever you come up with, I want you to support that with the theory that you've come across, and show me how you're going to apply it in this case study.
Where did you find that that template that you've downloaded?
It's just here. So you can see my screen. It's under LMS Assessment 3. It's just here.
Yeah, I've gone under that though. I can't seem to. So if you take a step back,
you can't see it.
No. So is that under assessments? Is it?
It's under. Yeah. So you go down. I've just scrolled down. I've scrolled.
Now, how do I get to that page? How do I get to that particular page?
Okay. There's your front page.
Yeah. So let me go back to that. So that there.
And scroll down. Scroll down. Scroll down. Scroll down. Past web conferences.
Yeah. It's that first past e-journal.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Got him.
Yeah. I was going into. Yeah. Cool.
Cool. All right, guys. So I'm very glad that you're asking me these questions. Are we getting more clarity around what's required here?
Well, sorry. Just quick structure question.
Yes.
The executive summary comes before the table of contents, right?
You can do I would do your title page, table of contents, and then the executive summary.
That's good that I asked, because for example, in our topics, they asked me to put the executive summary before the table of contents. So in this case, for you, you want the executive summary part of the table of the contents.
Okay, look, Gio, to be honest, I thought the right protocol was to do the table of contents first. Just to be honest, I'm just looking for some excellent reports. So if you do it one way or the other, I'm certainly not going to penalise anyone.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And you can look, you do it how you think it's going to present best. But so I don't mind.
Okay. And getting back to the table, of course, during the report, we will justify the use of certain stuff like the workshops and the objective of each workshop or whatever we choose to develop any capability, right? But my concern here is in the appendix we have to put a plan, like more detailed plan, and in the conclusion we have to give like some sort of brief, uh, a small brief about the plan. So in here, the table would be like an example of what would come in the appendix, and we will just develop a small brief in the conclusion, like, okay, the company, or however we want to call us, ourselves, sorry, we're going to develop this plan with like really brief stuff, but the main stuff will be at the appendix.
No. That's exactly the wrong way round. I want your appendix to contain your learning and development plan, okay? That is going to be a summary of what you are going to do. I want your report to contain the detail.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Gio. Good question. Guys, what else have we got here? Are we clear what we need to do? Once we go through assessment 4 too, it might even become a bit clearer because they're linked, as you know. Have you guys got any other questions before we move on to assessment 4? I'm very happy to answer anything. No?
The only thing with them for me, I don't know whether it's just my system, but whenever I try and download that template, it just won't let me, it comes up as an error.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, here, let me bring it up for you, and you can just here. Do you want to take a picture?
I'll just take a snapshot.
Yeah, because this is just
it's an easy table to put up. So
yeah, and this is just a template. As I said, you can use anything you want, or you can design your own.
Yeah, cool. All right.
Hey guys, can you just give me a minute?
Yep.
I just be a minute. Hold on. Okay, guys, sorry. Thanks, I'm back. All right, so any other questions coming to mind?
We also will be using around 10 academic research, right?
Let me just double check. I think the minimum was 10. Yes.
Yep.
Minimum was 10. I'm just double checking. Yep.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's strange because you try and, because you've got 10, so when you're looking at 10 different references, there's only kind of between 1,200 and 800 words, isn't it?
Yeah, with most of you can use some examples from practice as well.
Okay, so if you're thinking about references, it's not as if you need 10 different theories, because you start to link 10 different theories to 10 different interventions.
You have to use a minimum of 10 peer-reviewed journals, and you know, you can use journals on the same topic. If you pick a theory or something that you want to look at and apply, then you can look at a number of journals on the same area. But you do need a minimum of 10 peer-reviewed journals, and then anything else that you want to include supplementary to that, you know, textbook stuff, practitioner articles could be very useful here as well. Cool. All right, cool. So we are clear about the referencing? Right, guys, can I just make sure everyone's good before we move on to look at assessment 4?
Yes, Mel, thank you.
All right, cool. I'm glad. Andres, you're good. Dario, Gio, all good?
Yep, all good.
Cool.
Yeah, all good. What if we have any question about the report, can we send you a mail?
Yes, you certainly can send me an email. Now, listen, guys, so your report's due on Sunday, isn't it?
Yep.
So, yeah, that's no problem. I will be around to answer any questions. Next week I'm away, actually. The week after I'm away, I'm in Norfolk Island, and I'm from Monday to Friday, and I'm not sure how good the internet connection is there, but I'm hoping I'll see if I can get one of my colleagues to, in case I can't get on, to answer any questions you have about assessment 4. But I think you'll find it's fairly straightforward. We'll go through it today. But anyway, any questions you've got on assessment 3, your proposal, no problem. I'm around. I should be able to get to them fairly quickly.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, shall we get on then and have a look at an assessment 4? So this is due on Sunday, the 25th of February by 11:55 p.m. So this is week 7 of our course, the Sunday. Assessment 3 and assessment 4 are linked. So you will have done all the work in assessment 3 and you'll just have to put it together for assessment 4. So it's going to be based on your work group learning and development proposal, assessment 3 for your team leaders. So let's just go through and have a look at the requirements to make sure that they're very clear. I'll just shut this. All right, so I'll just go into the instructions here in LMS. Okay, here we go. So assessment 4 is worth 20% of your grade, and the task involves you creating a talking head style video presentation. The context of the presentation is the same as your assessment 3. You're the manager of these team leaders and you are presenting a verbal pitch to the senior management team. So it'd be the same people that you directed your assessment 3 proposal at. So what you will do in your video presentation is summarize the key features of your learning and development proposal. So this is not, we don't need you to go through it in detail. You will be summarizing the key points from your proposal. So the purpose of assessment 3 we've just talked about is to describe and analyze appropriate interventions for Red Telecom, the team leaders that report to you. Your verbal pitch or your presentation, the objective will be to convince the management team you're pitching to that your proposal is necessary, it's viable, and it is going to address the competency gaps that you identified. So, of course, you've already done all of that in assessment 3. A talking heads video is of a head talking directly into the camera, or it can be done in an interview style, talking to the side of the camera. So how you do it is up to you, head and shoulders, talking head style. You are also required for this assessment to produce a one-page document that summarizes your presentation. So this is a written requirement. Again, that should be pitched at the senior management.
Mel,
Yes.
in regards to the document that we need to attach, could that be the summary script that you use for the video?
No,
Okay.
it needs to be a professional one-page document that summarizes your presentation in a professional way. This would be what you'd leave them with at the end of your presentation. Okay, summarizing your key points. It's what you want them to focus on.
It's almost like a briefing note.
You can certainly write it that way.
Okay. So bullet points would be acceptable for that.
Yes, it would.
Okay, thank you.
And please make sure it's referenced appropriately. All right.
And how many references will you be expecting for this one?
There is no minimum number of references. So you will just, you will have done all the research anyway for assessment 3. So I would have thought that anything that goes into your one-page summary will come from there.
Yeah, I will think that being a summary of the work that we have done on assessment 3, the references list would be pretty much the same, wouldn't it?
Yes, I would think so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, well, let's have a look now at the specific instructions or the requirements for your video. So the detail is contained in your learning and development proposal in assessment that you did in assessment 3. And this video is a summary of your key points only. So the key requirements here, then they've listed 8. So you need to propose, describe, and present the analysis of your human resource development interventions, which are appropriate for the team leaders. You need to present the key points of your proposal to that audience, so that's senior managers in your organization, for those team leaders. You need to demonstrate a good understanding of the theory, formal and informal workplace learning, and be able to apply that. In terms of your communication, so your presentation, we're looking for a highly professional business presentation. So you'll be focused on business communication. So business communication, if you think of your audience, senior managers, you're going to have to be very succinct, professional, to the point, and focused on what you want to say. Okay, the next requirement here is to use a number of attention-getting devices. So what we're looking for here is that you are engaging your audience. And now, because this is a head and shoulders, or talking head style video, engagement is going to have to come through your body language, your voice, your eye contact, your tone, your enthusiasm. And all of those are going to work to persuade senior management that your proposal is the way to go. So, to be persuasive about something, you have to believe in it yourself. So you need to be enthusiastic, show that you believe in these interventions, and then you will be able to persuade senior managers. So you want to be very focused on, as I said, your body contact, your body language, your voice. So make sure you don't talk monotone like this, because this loses interest very, very quickly. So you want to make sure you vary your pitch, your voice tone, the volume. Watch you don't go monotone and stilted. And please do not read from a set of notes. It just comes across as stilted, monotone, and you lose all enthusiasm. So that is not the objective here. Do not read off a script word for word, or you will not deliver well.
I have one question here.
Yeah.
Do we have to have like some sort of PowerPoint, or I don't know, presentation for the video, or it's just well, first of all, is it gonna be like a presentation with voice, or I don't know, forget it, because I already see that you're gonna evaluate like movements and everything.
Yeah.
So just getting back to the first question. Do we have to have some sort of background presentation and present that presentation to the imaginary audience, or just a verbal expression and how we present the topic?
Okay, so Gio, what you have to do is produce a 4 to 5 minute presentation which is in a talking head style. So we don't need to see a PowerPoint, we just need to see your face and you are talking to us. There was 2 ways that they suggested. You can you can talk directly into the camera, or you can use an interview style where you're talking to the side of the camera, like the person that you're talking to is sitting in front of you there. So that is the style. You do not need to have a PowerPoint presentation overlaid there. So that is the main requirement. Then you're also required to produce the one-page document that goes with your presentation. Is that clear?
The one-page document is like the summary or the speech that we're going to say?
Yes, it's a summary of your pitch.
Okay.
Okay, so let me
Sorry,
move back.
Mel,
Yes.
when you mentioned that we shouldn't be reading from notes, I understand that as not being reading from a script word by word, but surely we will be able to have some trigger points that
Oh,
allow us
absolutely.
to, okay, yeah.
Oh, yes, of course, Andres. But I find, so I suggest you have some bullet points in front of you or whatever you want to use. I don't mind. But
Yeah.
I'm just cautioning you, if you have your script written out and then you start to read it,
Yeah.
it just loses engagement completely. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it becomes very stilted. It sounds like you're reading it. There's no enthusiasm. So I'm just urging you to take a risk, write a few bullet points and just give it a go. And of course, it's only 4 or 5 minutes. If you're not happy, you can do it again.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Okie doke. So we're looking for engagement, the fact that you can use technology effectively, and it's up to you how you want to record this. You can use your phone to do it. You can use your webcam on your computer. Doesn't really matter. There is a whole heap of information on LMS that I'll find it here. This tells you about talking heads videos. So you're going to need to watch this. This is what you need to produce, something along these lines. You get information here about here how to upload your video and your supporting document, and help with technology. So there's a whole heap of information here for you. I just want to go back and make sure we don't miss any of the requirements. So where am I? Yes, so we want to see good use of technology. We want to see a video presentation that is insightful. So you've managed to gain credibility, insight, and you show originality and critical thinking in your pitch. And of course, what has to underpin your presentation as well as your assessment 3, your proposal, is related theory, so adult learning or related AHRD theory, and we want to see it applied to the team leaders in the case study. We want to see evidence of the research you've done in regards to the competencies related to your team leaders. And you want to make sure that you have an awareness and understanding of the 70-20-10 model of development and learning. We talked about that last time. And you've given management all the information they need to go ahead and give your proposal the green light. So
Speaking about the research, sorry about me again.
That's okay. No problem.
Speaking about the research, I have just one question here. Do we have like to can we like relate the presentation to the report already given, or do we have to relate to academic research, or can we relate to, I don't know, other companies or other experiences? How do we have to relate in this part?
Okay, so what this is, it's only a 4 to 5 minute pitch, and it is a summary of your proposal. So what did you put in your proposal? Now, you may need to do a little bit of specific research around some of the competency gaps that you've identified, but the majority of your research will already be done. This verbal pitch is a summary of what is contained in Assessment 3, your learning and development proposal.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, now I thought it might be useful. I'll go through the marking rubric, which is always very useful. Here is some guidelines for you in developing your video. I'll let you have a look at that when you have a moment. In terms of some additional requirements, so make sure you have a good structured presentation that contains the key points of your proposal that you did in Assessment 3. As I've already said, please do not read from a script. It does not deliver well. So watch your tone, body language, eye contact, etc. Ensure you're effectively and professionally dressed during the presentation pitch. You can be a bit like newsreaders if you like. And we really are going to see shoulders, just shoulders and above. The video needs to be 4 to 5 minutes maximum. So 5 minutes is the max. I do not want you going over 5 minutes. And as it says here, you can record your video with an iPhone webcam or any other piece of technology that you wish to use. I am going to suggest, I think, to prevent any problems with this, I'm going to suggest that once you've recorded your video, that you upload it to YouTube, and then at the top of your one-page plan that you're going to, or the one-page summary you're going to provide, put the link in, and then I will go in and access your video through YouTube. Is that clear, guys? So record your video however you wish, upload it to YouTube, and then before the due date, I want you to submit into LMS your one-page summary with the YouTube link at the top of that summary. Is that clear?
This is going to sound really silly, but I'm
I beg your pardon?
a bit. So do you need a separate YouTube channel to do that? Like, how do you do that?
Oh, it's very, very easy, Dario. Okay, I just did it recently. If you just go in Google how to do it, you basically set up a very basic YouTube account, and it allows you to upload, and no one else will see it except for those people that have the link, which will just be me.
Okay, so you want us to put the link on?
Yes, please. So upload it to YouTube, and then you copy the link. It's very straightforward, and if you Google the process, it'll talk you through it. It's only a couple of steps, and that way we don't have to worry about your video doesn't. That way you don't have to worry about whether the video is going to play for me. It's all going to work. I find this just works much better. Of course, test the link and make sure that the link's working.
Okay.
Okay, so they've given you, if you need any technical advice or support, they've given you an email address there. And as I said, what I want you to do is upload your one-page supporting document with that link at the top. So all you have to upload is your supporting document, and within that, it will contain the link. Now, something I did find useful, here you can see that what they do here is they give you a bit of an idea of structure for both assessment 3 and 4. So we talked about this. This is one, an idea of how you could structure your assessment 3 and 4. So you set out the objectives of your proposal, a profile of your work group, your team leaders, the problems they are facing, and then the gaps that have the problems that have resulted from the gaps, that they're competency gaps. You want to then identify what competencies or skills that should be developed. Then you want to provide some detail of your learning and development strategy and the interventions that you've come up with. An evaluation of your proposal, and then finally some conclusions. And of course, the conclusion in both your proposal and your verbal pitch, this is your last chance in your pitch. So you want to be persuasive, convince senior management to adopt your proposal. So you want to stress here in your conclusion the benefits to the company and individuals, etc. Oh, you can see here, it answers the question. The reference list should be drawn from your assessment 3 written proposal. If you need to use any more references, I'm fine with that as well. Yes, so this is all based on your assessment 3. So if you get that solid and you get a good learning and development proposal, then you've got all the tools you need for your verbal pitch. Okay, do I have any questions then?
Just one last one, Mel, not so much for these 3 or 4, just with regards to that journal, the ongoing journal that we have, that we do, we're sharing some things from.
Yes.
It's only as we share that's going to be assessed, isn't it? It's not. Are we meant to hold on? We're meant to submit an entire.
No, I'm just going to assess your posts on Community of Practice discussion board and your reflections.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Dario. Anyone else got any questions on the last?
In that regard, Mel.
Yes, Andres.
Do we have an opportunity to go back and review whatever we might be missing, or is that closed and whatever we have done is done? In terms of the post studies.
Yeah, no, it needs to be closed off now.
Okay.
So, yes, no opportunity to go back.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, is there anything else before we sign off? I would be also, of course, this is our last web conference. So as I said, I'm very happy to answer your questions that we haven't covered via email. I am around until Sunday, so I will be able to address all your questions then. The following week, I am actually away in Norfolk Island, so I'm hoping I can get Wi-Fi, but if not, I'm going to see if I can get one of my colleagues to be available to answer any questions on the video presentation. But hopefully it's all pretty self-explanatory. It's all here in LMS. Finally, guys, any feedback that you'd like to leave at this point? Any areas? I know that you've really enjoyed the course and the content and the ability to reflect, which is one of our main objectives. I'm very pleased to hear about that. Any other suggestions or comments that you've got to make about any aspect of the course?
Just minor feedback, Mel.
Yes.
I've noticed that some areas of the LMS are displaying the wrong dates. I think they haven't been updated from last semester, and they show, for example, assessment 3 due on the 17th of October 2017. So you might want to have a look at that. But other than that, that's all.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Andres. Actually, I came across that the other day. I didn't set up the site and I thought I'd done it, but I missed a few. So thank you very much for pointing that out.
No problem.
Anyone else got anything they'd like to add? Gio, Dario, any comments, feedback?
No, it's okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
It's a lot of, all good.
Okay. I think you were going to, I know what you're about to say, Dario, I think. You're going to say it's for the contents. There's a lot of content. Is that what you're about to tell me?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of work there. So, which is I think it's really good for a longer semester. But when you it's all condensed in 6 or 7 weeks, it can be a bit not overwhelming, but just a lot to keep your head around, you know.
Yeah, look, I get that. The content each week is really, really heavy, but you've nailed it. It's a 6-week course, so with full credit points. So, you know, the objectives are the same as any other units. So we need to make sure we meet those outcomes. So yes, I'm sure you understand that. But yeah. I do appreciate that. Yes, it's a lot of content for you know, intense content for 6 weeks. But I think you guys have benefited from that because, you know, you're taking it, you know, you're learning it, you're taking it, you're reflecting on it, you're using it in your assessments. So having a condensed course is very beneficial in that way.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys, is there anything else that I can help you with?
Not so far, thank you, and I like the course very much. And well, whatever it happens or whatever other inquiry, I will send you a mail for sure.
Oh yes, please email me because I want to know how you go and if there's anything else you'd like to talk about. And I really have enjoyed working with you guys, especially the 3 of you. You've been very engaged, and having you here on the web conferences makes it much easier for all of us, I think. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mel.
All right, guys. Well, listen, all the very best. Email me any questions you have. I look forward to reading your assessments and your videos. Obviously, I will mark them and give you some feedback. So if you've got any questions, certainly let me know. Otherwise, I wish you all the very, very best.
Thanks, Mel. Have a good trip.
Thanks, Mel.
And if I don't think you should have any problem, Dario, opening the channel on YouTube. Is very, very intuitive. But if you do, just flick me an email and I'll be able to help.
I get used to it, I think, after I do it once or twice. But
Yeah.
it's a whole new world.
Hey, Dario, trust me, okay, I hadn't actually done it before. If I can do it without any problems, you can. It was honestly, I did a Google and it was about three steps. It was easy. So, and you know what, don't stress. If you really have an issue, then, you email me a file, we can go from there. But I don't think you'll have a problem.
10-year-old son, I think it's all gone the other way around now. So.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. All the best. And I will be in touch soon.
Thanks. Bye.
So well.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mel.